What's going on, guys? Got my buddy Twitch here with me today. You guys might know him from Shield Bearer of Faith channel. We're getting a minute or two to hang out while he's passing by. Thought we would throw this together, and you guys know I'm on a medical kick lately. I've been preaching that to y'all hard, from band-aids and boo-boo stuff all the way up to traumatic stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, he actually is with Refuge Medical.
Yep, and I actually teach for Refuge Training. Sister companies, the same thing.
Right.
Yep.
I'll put some links to that down in the description box. I want you guys to have as much exposure to as many different avenues of medical stuff as you possibly can, because next to food and water, medical stuff is pretty important, because that's not just end of the world stuff, guys. That's every day.
You're guaranteed to bleed eventually.
If you live life, you're going to bleed at some point. You're going to get sick, get hurt, get a boo-boo, whatever. Life happens, okay?
Absolutely.
So, I'll put links to Refuge down below. If y'all guys haven't seen his channel, personally, I'll put a link to that. He's got a little present that he brought for me today, and I thought I'd let him show it to you real quick. I'm going to try it out and see what I think.
This right here, guys, comparison to my hand. Thickness right there. This is the SOB kit from Refuge Medical. Stands for small at the back. So designed in general to be mounted with a MOLLE system on a belt line, something like that. Now, I will tell you, I'm personally running this in two capacities. I personally own two of these. One, I've got on a war belt, battle belt, whatever you want to call it, a duty belt, that I'm running in the small of the back region for trial and testing of my own. And then I'm also running one on my plate carrier currently, right here. And so far, and I've done a bunch of different training days with brothers of mine back home. We've done a lot of stuff in the woods, in and out of vehicles. I do a lot of different things. I love it. And so that's why I want to bring you this specific kit. This is my favorite one. On the outside here, still wrapped in plastic, which if you leave it wrapped in plastic, you're wrong.
Yep.
But wrapped in plastic.
I'll take that off. Don't worry.
Yeah, you will. I have confidence. This thing is going to be held on, guys, by just something we call a turd.
Shock cord.
That's right, shock cord. And a barrel nut, which we have loosened the knot on so we can rip it right off if we chose to. And then on the inside, it's designed with a sleeve in mind. Yank that thing for me. It comes out no problem when it's mounted. You got your pocket. This right here, guys, this is why I love it. It's small and compact. In fact, one of my inserts is in my thigh right now. It fits in my cargo pocket. Yeah, and I've adjusted this slightly for my own daily needs. You know, so like I've tossed a couple band-aids in there, things like that. But this kit right here, slim, guys. Right on top, on the lid, we've got a Sharpie. If you choose to, it's also got a bungee loop. You can put a needle decompression up there. A lot of people, though, because of liability issues, are telling us they don't want them. A lot of TAC team guys, and this is kind of oriented because I come from a law enforcement background. For my mindset, the way I function, I like being able to mount it on my belt line, because when I was a cop, that's the option I had. We didn't carry load-bearing equipment at the time. And so in here, we've got two compact chest seals. They'll slide right out. So we got two of them, and in between, got a nasal airway. Just to keep it from yanking that lubricant off.
Nice.
Nitrile gloves wrapped in a package. Feel free to do what you want with them. We have gauze. We'll get to all of this in just a second. Compressed gauze. I love this stuff. It was the most frequent thing I used as a cop. I love the 4-inch ETD by North American Rescue as well.
That's what I have.
And then getting a little bit deeper, we do have some antiseptic wipes. If you got it, it's nasty, it's on you, you don't want it on you. Combat gauze on top of that. So quick clot gauze. As we teach in class, this stuff goes in first, then you pack this on top of that. And then from there, we had our duct tape. Now, the flat duct tape, I've actually fiddled with this. I'm not obsessive about duct tape, but I find that there are different grades of duct tape. This stuff's actually really adhesive. So if you're going to have it for a medical kit, it needs to stick really well.
That's why I like Gorilla Tape.
Absolutely.
Regular duct tape. Gorilla Tape sticks to everything.
Absolutely. And if you go on to Refuge Medical, you can get a couple different add-ons. One of which that I love is shears.
Yes.
And my kit in here that I've added for myself is shears. I also added like some hydration salt, so you can tinker with it a little bit.
Put it how you want it.
That's right. I even took a a SWAT tee because I got kids. And the whole SWAT tee won't fit in here, so it's a 5-foot length. I rolled it out, cut it in half, put that in there. That's it. It's very slim, but it covers all of our trauma bases.
Yep.
And again, on the outside is where you had that Cat Gen 7 tourniquet. Now, honest feedback from you, because we want honesty. What do you think first glance? Because you didn't know what was in it, right?
Oh, it's almost identical to what I recommend everybody puts in the bleeder pouches that I make.
There you go.
It's like my bleeder pouches, guys, and I've got something in the works that I can't tell you about yet, but it might be coming. Like in my bleeder pouches, two of these,
Yep.
one of these, and a tourniquet. That's what I've been telling everybody to get, right? So it's the same concept with a couple more things, just because the pouch is a little bigger.
Yeah.
It's got a little more room. Like, I will probably, I've got a bigger IFAC on my belt rig already, but I'll either put that on my belt and take the bigger one off my belt and put it on my ruck, or I might put that on my ruck. I'm not sure. I'm going to play with it and see.
You get to play with this stuff.
You'll see, guys, redundancy is not a bad thing when it comes to the medical side, right? But no, that's exact, like the compact chest seals, these are the ones I really like over the bigger hyphens.
Yep.
They're great, but just for space-wise.
Absolutely.
They fit in that pouch, they fit in my bleeder pouches. You got some versatility there, and it can accomplish the same thing. So first glance, yeah, dude, that's spot on.
A cool thing to me too. So when I was doing cop work, and something, if you've been in any of my classes, you'll know I emphasize this: that where you got one hole, you're probably gonna have two. Where you got three, you're probably gonna have four. And next thing you know, you didn't bring enough chest seals, right? And yes, I know exactly how we can makeshift the chest seal from the wrappers, right? However, we talk about that a plan to improvise is a plan to fail. So knowing how to improvise, vital. Absolutely. But man, bring stuff that's dedicated. So a cool thing to me is...
Don't plan on having to improvise.
That's right. You know, bring stuff that's designed for this.
Plan on being able
to
improvise. Absolutely. Not as your primary go-to.
And what I love is, if you wanted to, guys, I know because this is what I do with my kids. If you wanted to, you can start upgrading this yourself if you choose to, right? So what I just showed you is the basic involvement of this kit. I added two more of these. Two more compact chest seals because they're slick and they're really small, right. So they will fit. Same thing if you wanted to alter this slightly. Maybe you say that you didn't want the space taken up by some disinfectant wipes. Cool. Alter this stuff how you want. But if you're one of those people that you want to buy something that's dedicated, ready-made, you don't need to fiddle with it, it is ready to go. I love this pouch. And again, the fact that I can take the insert out, let's say I mounted this to a belt system or to my plate carrier. The pouch that's on my plate carrier right now is empty because the insert's in my pocket.
Right.
Well, if I go don that plate carrier, I can just slide it back in.
Good deal. So, you guys know what I do for a living, at least most of you should. And just cursory glance, I'll go ahead and tell you. The pouch itself, it might seem anecdotal to some people, but it's solid. Okay, if I was gonna sew it, it looks almost like my sewing. It's same method, same everything. So I'm gonna tell you the pouch is absolutely good to go and solid. It's not, it ain't cheap airsoft grade. It's legit and the real deal.
It's also made in America, which
it is.
Maybe it's just us. It matters to me.
By another small American business like me.
Yep.
The Made in America thing, I tell guys, I get it whenever I can, but I'm not afraid to not get it.
I'm the same way.
Because I want to get what's going to benefit me the most.
That's right.
If that's something else that's made somewhere else, then so be it. If I can get it here, then great. I'm not opposed to it, because if I wanted to get on that kick of only American made, I wouldn't have a house.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because 90% of what you got in your house has got some kind of foreign influence.
Well, like you were just saying, you know, I appreciate you taking, because again, we did not pre-script this at all.
No, this is off the cuff.
I appreciate you looking at it and giving honest assessment of the stitching, because that is your world, right? That's not my world.
That's what
But something I notice is I've had, not to bash Condor, because I still have certain items by them that I have as extra gear. But there's a stitching thing that I've noticed over the years of me fiddling with gear, that is where you can tell quality or not. Yes, the materials itself can have a quality change, but an attention to detail tends to be found in the stitching.
Yes.
The bandolier that you sent me, that I've done videos for and I've tinkered with, and I really like, the stitching is the thing I noticed immediately. It does not have fraying going on. And it's got, well, at least, I mean, you had at least 2 layers of stitch on almost everything.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that exercises a level of attention to detail.
So the 2 things that I'll just point out to you guys, like on the pouch, we're just talking about the quality of it, right? So all of MOLLE webbing is triple stitch. There's 3 rows of stitching in there. That's what I do. There's a reason why. That's how I was taught to do it. There's reasons why you do that. Too much to get into here. But also little things like the stitches per inch.
Ah.
Like how tight the stitching is, right?
Okay.
So that's actually a thing. If you will look at some cheaper made foreign stuff, and that's not to say that there's not good foreign made stuff that's not expensive, but there is some that's just less quality.
Sure.
The stitches will be stretched way far apart, so there's fewer stitches per inch, but they're also the thread's not tight.
Gotcha.
So like in the sewing thing, I run a lot of tension on my machine, so when that stitch is lock stitching in, it's pulling really tight.
Yeah.
There are some negatives that come with that from a manufacturing standpoint because you shrink the material.
Sure.
The material shrinks up, but the strength is there. If you were to cut one of these stitches, chances are it's not going to start unraveling because the tension's so tight it's already locked in.
Absolutely.
And there's about 7 to 8 stitches per inch right there, which is what I like. So it gives you a lot more stitches in that tight area without destroying the material.
Absolutely.
We can get on that forever. Just saying, guys.
I love that analysis, though.
The contents are great. The pouch is great. So just recently I showed you guys the IFAC content kit that my buddy at Stuck Pig Medical sent me. You notice some commonality there. There's a thing that the people that know what they're doing are putting together. It's things to look for, like this, like this, like this. There's reasons, guys, and that's why I wanted you to be able to show them. Tell these guys, I want you guys to have options. Get your medical stuff squared away. I can't say that enough.
Guys, I talk about it, for my mind, I've got like 3 main food groups is what I call them when we're talking about trauma level, like street medicine, right? Because that's what I was doing. I was running an aid so we can get them to somebody else. We're only delaying death. I'm just trying to buy them as much time as I can. You're still dying if we don't get you further help. And those 3 food groups, pretty much gauze, tourniquets, and chest seals. Not in a specific order. And if you hit those 3 things, or if you miss those 3 things, it's a big deal. You know, it's life-changing literally, whether you have those or not.
And this doesn't have to be from like a gunshot, guys. I mean, just going down the road, you come up on a car accident.
That's right.
Somebody working, you get something fall on you and cut with a saw.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of daily life reasons.
TJ himself has used a SWAT tee and some gauze from a chainsaw wood. I mean, he uses the ditty, and I love it. It's that chainsaws don't cut flesh, they remove flesh.
Yeah, they disappear it.
How many people live on a homestead that use chainsaws or pitchforks or any number of other things? Yeah, axes, anything. So make sure you've got the stuff squared away. Yeah, we love it if you buy it from us, but honestly, I care greatly about the preservation of life. I just want you to have it. You know, get this stuff squared away. You don't, man, we just don't put enough emphasis on the aid part. If you're going to go and fling bullets potentially, you better have a way to plug holes.
Yep, because there's a good chance you're going to get one or somebody else.
Absolutely.
And the training side too, guys.
Yes.
Check out Refuge training. It's just another great option. You've got to have the training. It's one thing to get the stuff, but just like with the guns and everything else, you've got to know how to do it. And the only way to do it is proper instruction and hands-on. Actually doing it and then going home and practicing what you did. I mean, we were just having this conversation earlier. How many people actually take the time once or twice a week, put on your gear and, oh my God, I'm shot, grab the tourniquet and get it on?
Yep.
You don't have to do that in a, oh my God, manic method. Nope. Just simply practicing. I'm going to take my tourniquet out, slide it on. Just doing that repeatedly, even slowly, it builds up. People like to call it muscle memory. If you want to get real specific, it's autonomic response.
Autonomic response.
You're programming the brain. It knows what to do. It's the same thing we did in martial arts when you're doing forms and katas and stuff. You're not going to fight like that.
Yeah.
But it's programming the brain to do specific moves so that, you know, I may do a block like that in a kata, but in a real block it's going to be this.
Yeah.
But my brain already knows hands got to go up here.
That's right.
That's it. Those little things, the medical side is no different, guys. Go learn it, get taught it,
And practice
do it right, and then practice it.
Well, the cool thing this isn't a Refuge training advertisement, but this matters to me because when I was doing police work, I was funding this endeavor on my own. Nobody was giving me medical stuff.
I remember you were doing that.
Yeah, and so for me, it was a big deal when you start to break it down to numbers, like cost-benefit analysis, right? When you come to our level 1 class, you get a training kit. So you'll get a CAD Gen 7 tourniquet that's just blue. It's a real Gen 7 CAD tourniquet. In fact, the feedback we get from students is that they more frequently are responding to injuries from car wrecks in a life-saving manner than they are in any other mode. So that's every day, guys, we drive. That's statistically the most dangerous thing that we will do today. On top of that, you're going to leave with chest seals that you're going to have. They're real chest seals. I mean, so you get some of a nasal airway. So as part of the cost for the class, you're leaving with half a kit.
There you go. I mean,
yeah.
I wish I could go to an actual shooting class where I leave with
bullets.
half a case of ammo. That'd be great to go shooting and leave with ammo. I usually end up leaving with an empty can, with nothing in it.
And then our level 3 class that we do, you're going to run out of materials. It's specific to elevate your heart rate, so you don't have a choice but to do what you were just talking about. We're going to see what your automatic responses are and how well you've been putting this stuff into your mindset and your life skills. It's a lot of fun to do, and we're going to make sure you run out of real equipment, you know, real gauze, real bandages. That way you have no choice but to improvise.
Yep.
Yep.
It forces you into those situations, in part because another buddy of mine that teaches medical stuff, he'll do that with a group of guys and have them as if they're on a patrol or something, and you're hit with this wound.
Absolutely.
And then clock's ticking, and he'll just start throwing, verbally throwing stuff at them.
Yep.
And it's fun to watch people do one or two things. Their brain either just vapor locks and they're like, oh my God, what do I do? Or they just roll. They're just they're into it. They're taking actions. It's fun to watch that transition.
It's really fun for me as the instructor in this stuff to see that transition. You know, because I'm kind of in a, yes, I'm involved because I'm yelling at you and I'm getting you amped up and all that, but I get to be the third party to observe. And in between, if we're doing the level 1 class, 4-hour course, if we're doing the level 3, it's an 8-hour thing. By the beginning to the end, it's fascinating to see the transition. And it's consistent. I've taught an 11-year-old in Dallas, and I've taught 80-year-olds at various places. In Tallahassee, I think was the oldest I had. That's to say that essentially anyone should be able to, and can do this stuff, and that's encouraging to me.
Yep, we've done it with some of my folks, with some of the kids and stuff. A buddy of mine does stop and bleed classes and stuff, and he's even the younger kids. In fact, we've had a couple. One of my best friends, his youngest son, was upset because he was too small. He couldn't turn the windlass tight enough. He knew what to do. He just didn't have the butt end on him to be able to do it. And we're like, don't worry, bud, another year and you'll be good to go.
Yep.
You said, kids, man, teach your kids this stuff.
Oh yeah. My daughter, my family travels with me anytime we go anywhere. And we're stopping by here and we're going to be doing some classes in Orlando in the next few days. And when they travel with me, my daughter sees all the stuff. She sees gauze, tourniquets, chest seals, wound cubes, all that stuff that we use for class. And she'll come in during our lunch period before the next class, and she'll see all this stuff. She'll go over, grab gauze, start putting it in wounds, and I'm just so proud.
Yep. Yeah. It makes you feel good when you do that.
Any final thoughts, man?
Nah, dude, I'm excited to play with this a little bit more and try it out. Again, another great option that I think folks need to have.
Thank you. We're pretty proud of it.
I'm trying to show you guys as many different avenues as I can, because just like I've told you about training in general, go to as many different instructors as you can, be it tactical side, medical side, whatever, because you never know what one little thing you may pick up where one guy does something different than somebody else, and it's not a right or wrong. It's just, okay, this one works a little bit better from my situation from here, and this part works a little and then you put everything together for you.
Exactly.
And I'm glad to see more of the medical training coming out now, because you can find firearms and tactics stuff all over the place, which is great, but the medical stuff has been really lacking in my opinion. And this is from somebody who years back was certified as a first responder and worked in that capacity for a little while. And this has only been coming out like the last I don't know, 2 years maybe, is when I've really seen the medical training side start really coming out. So
it used to bother me a lot that my co-workers did not have interest in this stuff when I was doing police work. They were all about going and, you know, fighting the bad guys, fighting that good fight, you know, getting the guns, the drugs, to get the bad guys off the street. But when somebody was injured, they didn't care about this stuff. The takeaway that we emphasize in class is it's up to you. If you're the one that's there, you are the real first responder, not the people that are paid.
Nope.
Whoever's already there, man. So make sure you have something with you guys.
If you're the first one on the scene, you're the first one on the scene.
You're the first responder. Look at that. Look at that.
If you're the first person to respond to it, guys. And you never know, you know, just day-to-day life, what's going to happen. I mean,
that's right.
Quick example, not to drag this on forever, but I've actually used my bleeder pouch, and it was a unique situation. My youngest son was coming through the front door one day, and he tripped and fell, and he had a big case in his hand, and right as he was opening the door and got all tangled up, he went face first into everything and just split his head wide open from one side to the other.
Yeah.
If you've ever gotten anything on your face, you know that the face is very vascular. You bleed a lot.
Bleeds everywhere.
It can be a little tiny thing and you're going to bleed like a stuck pig.
Yep.
Well, his wasn't tiny. It was pretty legit. So there was blood everywhere. He's freaking out. He's hurting. He's almost got a concussion from it. And I just instantly, I'm right past him, and I keep, I've done a video, I showed you guys, I legit keep stuff ready. I don't just talk about it. In my bedroom where I've got my gear hanging out, that's my grab and go gear, I grabbed my bleeder pouch, opened it up, ripped it, and the first two things I pulled out were my two big rolls of this right here. Simple as it may seem, and that compressed gauze, folded up the big wad, stuffed it over, started wrapping the rest. I didn't want to put a pressure bandage on there because I didn't know if maybe he even had a fractured skull or something, because he hit pretty hard.
That's right.
So I didn't want a lot of pressure, but I wanted to slow down and stop the bleeding. So just that simple $1.99 pack of gauze, I was able to make a little pressure spot, carefully wrap it tight enough to stop the bleeding, but not tight enough to cause issues if there's something else going on. We got him to the ER, and you know, he was stitched up and everything was good. But that was, I used this stuff right there in my house on my own child. Well, and it was, boom.
The cool thing is you had it and you knew where it was.
Right.
You knew what it was capable of doing. And that's the thing, guys. We've got to make sure we have this stuff in circulation. Before I left police work, because I was like the unicorn running around my city, I was the only one that was doing it, that was doing this.
Yep.
Before I left, I arranged for my whole shift to have a tourniquet, gauze, and chest seals. Those three main food groups. I have no idea if that'll get used, but it's got to be in circulation. You got to have it out there in the world. If you don't have it, you don't have it to use.
Yep, I agree. You got anything else you want to throw out there?
Good to go, man. I appreciate you letting me be here.
No, I'm glad you got a chance to stop by and we got to finally hook up. And we've been talking quite a bit, probably for the last
couple years.
Couple years now. Just haven't ever had the opportunity to cross paths, and got to work this one out, and here we are. So I'm gonna play with this some more, guys. You'll probably see me doing another video on it. Just have to figure out where I'm gonna put it at. I'll probably rearrange a few things.
And if there's anything that you don't like, I want to know about it. Like, so when you're making videos, man, when you start figuring out things because you do know what you're talking about, we want to know. We don't expect our stuff.
That's subjective.
We don't expect our stuff to be the end result. We're steadily trying to make that forward progress of improvements. The only way you do that is by getting honest feedback.
Quick note. So y'all notice this Sharpie right here, and this is another one of those little anecdotal things. You notice it's a full-size Sharpie. Remember the other bleeder kit, not bleeder kit, the IFAC kit that I showed you from my buddy at Stuck Medical? What was in it? Not a little compact golf cart pencil, but a full-size Sharpie. If you go watch his video, he'll explain why it's a full-size Sharpie and not a little. There's reasons. This tells me right here, it adds to everything else that somebody knew what they were doing when they put this together. It's not just, oh, this looks cool, let's throw it in there.
One final reason. I just remembered this. I gotta hit this. One other thing, I told you, we do custom kitting, right? You tell us what you want, we'll make it. This right here is a black Sharpie. Both of us are white males. Our brother back home, Brother Dudley, he's a dark-skinned black male. That will not show up on him as well. So, as part of the custom kitting, and this is what I do in my kit, I carry a silver Sharpie. It will mark on the most skin tones. But that's these little pieces that if you don't know, you don't know. Right? And I even got him, I pulled him over to the side one day, I pulled out a black Sharpie, pulled out a silver. I said, hey brother, let me mark on you. Look what we did. I marked him on the arm with the black one. I said, well, actually, I can see it a little bit, but it doesn't stand out. Pulled out the silver one right beside it. I was like, oh yeah. By the end of the day, 8 hours later, for whatever we were doing, I said, let me see your arm. Still there, guys. That's cool. If you need to mark, these are these little tidbits that we talk about in the training classes that if you don't know, you don't know. But, man, I really appreciate you letting me.
No, dude, I'm glad. Like I said, I've been on a medical kick lately. I think it's important. I've got, you know, you guys doing this. My buddy up at Duct Tape Medical. I need to put you in touch with him. You know, maybe
sure.
Cross rank because he's former combat medic.
Awesome. Yeah.
And he's teaching up in North Carolina.
He'd be a whole lot more knowledgeable than me.
Well, and it just again having all those resources just spread around, so you got options. It's not about competition and who's trying to outdo the other. It's about helping people, saving lives, and I don't think he wouldn't be upset that you're doing this and you're not upset that he...
No. It's about saving lives.
It's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a symbiotic thing, right? That's a main goal that you'll notice here. And
well, guys, we're never going to be able to teach everyone.
Right.
Like the company I work for, we're never going to get to everybody. So, in my opinion, while I do think we offer a unique and great product, whether it be kits or whether it be the training, at the same time, we know we're never going to get to everybody. So it is about saving lives. Get trained.
I want to network you with them and go from there.
Sure, man.
I like it, dude. I appreciate it.
No problem, brother.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
All right, guys. We're going to let y'all go. We probably rambled on long enough. Unfortunately, we figured out that we can ramble on for quite a while together. I think we could burn through a couple of pots of coffee.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, we've already been through one so far.
Yep. Man, I feel caffeinated.
And could go through some more because y'all know I got to have my coffee. And wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh, boy.
Because
he left me alone with this.
My viewers have come to expect this. Just because I didn't have it in front of me, and I got just enough left for. Y'all know you gotta have the coffee. So anyway, guys, take care. Get equipped. Get trained.
You don't have a lot of time.
That clock's ticking. That's something I think we both agree on.
Yeah. Conversation for another time.
Don't waste any time. See you guys later.
Later, guys.